Have you ever felt like there's something more inside you, something waiting to be awakened? What if I told you that today, at this very moment, you can take a transformative leap and change the way you perceive the world around you? Welcome to Awaken Your Consciousness with a Quantum Leap today. Let's embark together on a journey that unites science, spirituality, and the power of your mind. To begin, I want to introduce you to a fascinating figure, Jacobo Grinberg, a Mexican neuroscientist who dedicated his life to exploring the connection between the human soul and the universe. He believed that our consciousness is not just a product of the brain, but a bridge to something much greater, something cosmic. Grinberg saw the mind as a force capable of shaping reality, but with one essential condition: finding inner peace. It wasn't about changing the world out there with brute force, but about transforming what's inside us so that the external aligns naturally. Imagine that for a moment. What if the secret to a fulfilling life wasn't in fighting the chaos, but in awakening a clarity that already exists within you? Today, we're going to explore how this awakening can happen now with a quantum leap that goes beyond the ordinary. If you're enjoying what you've heard so far, do the following. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, comment with your thoughts, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Your participation makes all the difference in getting this journey to more people. Now let's dive into the first step, the call to awaken. Think about your life for a second. How many times have you felt like you're just going with the flow, trapped in a routine that stifles your dreams? Maybe you wake up every day with a feeling that something is missing, as if an essential part of you is asleep. Jacobo Grinberg said that this state of sleep is common, but it's not permanent. He studied ancient traditions and combined them with modern science to show that we all have latent potential, a vital energy that can be activated. It's not just a nice idea, it's something that echoes in thinkers like Allan Kardec, the codifier of Spiritism, who stated that the evolution of the soul depends on an internal awakening. Kardec said that the conscious mind, when aligned with higher purposes, can transcend material limitations. What if I told you that this awakening isn't a slow process, but something that can start today with a single bold step? Let's imagine what's dormant within you. Maybe it's a creativity you've set aside, an intuition you've ignored, or even a courage that's been buried under the weight of everyday life. Grinberg believed that our consciousness is like an energy field connected to the entire universe. When you start to access this connection, incredible things happen. He studied Mexican shamans who could alter the perception of reality simply with the power of their focused minds. It's not magic, it's a principle that science is beginning to understand. Quantum physics, for example, shows us that reality isn't fixed. It responds to the observer. Have you ever stopped to think that the way you see the world might be shaping what you experience? So what's holding you back? What's preventing you from taking that first step to wake up? Here's a question to reflect on. What if everything you need to change your life is already inside you, waiting for a trigger? Grinberg said that inner peace is that trigger. It's not about silencing the external world, but about finding a point of calm within yourself, a place where you can hear your own voice. When you do that, something magical begins to unfold. It's as if your consciousness becomes an antenna, picking up possibilities that previously seemed impossible. And the best part, you don't have to wait years to feel this. It can start now, today, with a simple decision: to pay attention to what's inside you. If you've watched this far, tell me in the comments, what do you think is dormant in your life? I want to know. Let's continue this journey together, because what comes next will show you how consciousness is the key to opening doors you didn't even know existed. Stay with me, because we're just beginning to explore what it means to take a quantum leap in your own story. Now that you've felt the call to awaken, let's take a step forward and explore what it really means to put your consciousness at the center of everything. Jacobo Grinberg, the neuroscientist who connected science to the soul, said something powerful. Consciousness is not just a mirror that reflects the world, it's a creative force. Think about that for a moment. What if the way you think, feel, and perceive has been shaping your reality all along? It's not a new idea. Allan Kardec, one of the great scholars of the mind and spirit, wrote that our evolution depends on how we use our ability to think and feel. He said that the soul, guided by an elevated consciousness, can transcend the chaos of the material world and create harmony. But how does this work in practice? How do you take this power that's inside you and transform it into something real, something you can see and touch in your life? Imagine your mind as a garden. If you leave it abandoned, weeds grow, doubts, fears, distractions. But if you take care of it, plant seeds of clarity and intention, something extraordinary blossoms. Grinberg believed that inner peace is the fertile soil of this garden. He spent years studying how the human mind interacts with the universe, and one of the things he discovered is that when you find a state of deep calm, your perception changes. It's not just a good feeling, it's a real change in the way you connect with the world. He saw this in the shamans he studied, people who could feel the environment around them as if they were part of it. Modern science is beginning to give clues about this. In quantum physics, they say that the observer affects what is observed. Could it be that you, with your consciousness, are creating what you experience, even without realizing it? Let's bring this to your daily life. Think of a situation that bothers you, maybe a problem at work, an unresolved argument, or even a dream that seems distant. Now imagine that the way you face this situation can change what happens with it. Grinberg said that the key is not to react to the external with anger or despair, but to go back inside yourself and find a point of balance. When you do that, your consciousness expands. It's as if you open a window to new possibilities. Allan Kardec also said something similar. He said that true strength comes from aligning your thoughts with a higher purpose. It's not about ignoring the problems, but about seeing them from a higher place, where solutions appear more clearly. What if I told you that you can train this? How about starting right now? Close your eyes for a second. It doesn't have to be long, just the time of a deep breath. Feel the air going in and out. Notice how, for a moment, the noise of the world gets quieter. This is the beginning of the inner peace that Grinberg talked about. It's not complicated. It doesn't require years of meditation or advanced techniques. It's a simple return to what you already have within yourself. And when you do that, something subtle but powerful begins to happen. Your mind stops being a victim of circumstances and becomes a creator. Have you ever felt that? A moment when everything made sense, even if just for a second. That's the power of your awakened consciousness. But here's the secret. It's not enough to just feel it once. You need to turn that spark into a constant flame. Grinberg believed that we all have infinite potential, but it gets blocked when we live on autopilot. How many times have you spent an entire day without really paying attention to what you were doing, eating without savoring, walking without looking around, thinking without direction? That's the sleep of consciousness. And the opposite of that is what we're looking for here, a state of presence that puts you in command of your own story. Kardec said that the soul progresses when it takes the reins of its own evolution. What if the next step in your evolution was just a thought away? Think of a dream you have. It can be small, like solving something that worries you, or big, like completely changing your life. Now imagine that this dream is not just a fantasy. It's a real possibility, waiting for you to adjust the lens of your consciousness to see it. Grinberg said that the universe is a field of energy, and our mind is part of that field. When you align your thoughts with what you want to create, it's like sending a signal to the cosmos. Quantum physics calls this the collapse of the wave function, the moment when a possibility becomes reality. It's not magic, it's a process. And the first step in this process is to believe that you have that power. Stay with me, because in the next part, we're going to dive even deeper. We're going to talk about what it means to take a real quantum leap, not as a theory, but as something you can do today. If you're enjoying this journey, leave a comment and tell me, what do you want to transform in your life with this power of consciousness? Let's continue together, because the best is yet to come. We've reached an exciting point in our journey, the quantum leap. You've heard the call to awaken. You've understood that your consciousness is the key to transforming your reality. But now let's take it a step further. What does it really mean to take a quantum leap today? Jacobo Grinberg, the neuroscientist who has guided us here, had a unique vision about this. He didn't see the quantum leap as something restricted to physics laboratories, but as a living possibility within each of us. For him, it was the moment when the mind breaks through the barriers of the ordinary and accesses a new level of existence. It's not just a gradual change, it's an abrupt transformation, like a ray of light cutting through the darkness. And the most incredible thing? You don't have to be a scientist or a mystic to do this. It all starts with a decision. Let's bring this into the field of science for a moment. In quantum physics, a quantum leap is when a particle like an electron changes from one energy state to another without passing through the in-between. There's no slow transition. It's instantaneous. Grinberg took this idea and applied it to consciousness. He said that our mind can also make these leaps, going from a state of limitation to one of expansion, as long as it's aligned with inner peace. Think about it. What if you could jump from a life of routine and doubt to one of clarity and purpose without waiting years to get there? It seems bold, but that's exactly what we're exploring today. Allan Kardec, another giant of thought, said something that connects here. The soul advances by leaps when it becomes aware of its own strength. For him, these moments of illumination are not accidental, they are choices. So how do you make this leap in practice? Let's imagine together. Think of an obstacle that's in front of you now, something that holds you back, that makes you feel trapped. It could be a fear, an uncertainty, or even a situation that seems hopeless. Now, instead of fighting this obstacle with brute force, try changing the way you see it. Grinberg said that reality is like a projection of our mind. If you're seeing a wall, maybe the quantum leap is realizing that this wall is just an illusion created by your own thoughts. When you dissolve this illusion with clarity and calm, what was impossible becomes possible. It's as if your consciousness clicks, and suddenly you're on the other side. Here's a story to illustrate this. Grinberg studied shamans in Mexico who accomplished impressive feats like predicting events or sensing things from a distance. He discovered that they entered a state of consciousness so focused that the external world became an extension of themselves. It wasn't magic, it was a quantum leap of the mind. Science is starting to understand this too. Researchers talk about brain coherence, a state in which brain waves align, creating a broader perception. Have you ever had a moment like that? That feeling of flow, where everything seems to fit together? That's your brain giving you a taste of what's possible when you get out of autopilot and enter a state of total presence. But make no mistake, this leap doesn't happen by chance. It requires something from you, a commitment to your own transformation. Grinberg said that inner peace is the springboard for this leap. Without it, the mind becomes agitated, jumping from one thought to another, like a radio out of tune. But when you find that point of calm, it's as if you adjust the right frequency. Suddenly, you're no longer bound by the old rules of the game. You start writing new rules. Allan Kardec said something similar. He said that true freedom comes when the soul rises above blind passions and sees the world with the eyes of the spirit. What if your next quantum leap was simply deciding to look at life in a new way, starting today? Let's test this together. Take that obstacle you thought of earlier. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what would happen if I let go of the weight I put on it? If I stopped seeing it as a problem and started seeing it as an opportunity? You don't have to solve everything now. Just try changing the perspective for a moment. Feel the difference? That's the beginning of a quantum leap. It's not about changing the world out there all at once, but about changing the world inside you. And when that happens, the external has no choice but to follow. If you've watched this far, tell me in the comments, what obstacle do you want to transform with this leap? I want to hear your story. Stay with me, because in the next part, we're going to put it all together, the awakening, the consciousness, the quantum leap, and see how you can shine like never before. There's still a lot ahead, so don't miss what's coming next. We've reached the moment to bring all the pieces of this incredible journey together. You felt the call to awaken, discovered that your consciousness is the key to transforming your reality, and explored what it means to take a quantum leap. Now let's see how it all connects and why today is the day to let that transformation shine. Jacobo Grinberg, the neuroscientist who has inspired us from the beginning, was certain of one thing: human potential is limitless, but it only manifests when we take control of our own minds. He said that the universe is a mirror of our consciousness. What you reflect inside, you see outside. So why wait? Why put off until tomorrow what you can start now? This is the heart of our invitation. Awaken your consciousness with a quantum leap today and shine like never before. Think about everything we've talked about so far. Awakening isn't just opening your eyes. It's realizing that you were asleep to your own power. Consciousness isn't just thinking, it's creating, shaping, choosing what you want to experience. And the quantum leap? It's not some distant theory, but a courageous step you take when you decide to break away from the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary. Allan Kardec, another guide on this journey, said that the soul doesn't wait for time to pass to evolve. It advances the moment it decides to elevate itself. Today is that moment. It's not about perfection. It's not about having all the answers. It's about taking the first step, the one that changes everything. And the best part, you're not alone in this. The universe is conspiring with you, ready to reflect the light you decide to emanate. Let's bring this into the now. Imagine what you want in your life, a dream, a change, a peace you haven't found yet. Close your eyes for a moment and feel it as if it's already real. It's not just imagination, it's you planting a seed in the field of your consciousness. Grinberg said that the mind, in harmony, is like a cosmic antenna, capturing and creating at the same time. Quantum physics confirms when you focus on a possibility with clarity, it begins to take shape. This is the quantum leap in action, and the today in our title. It's the reminder that this power isn't in the future, it's in your hands right now. You don't need more time, you need more presence. And when you give yourself that, something magical happens. You start to shine. I want you to visualize that light for a second. It's not just a metaphor, it's the energy you emit when you're aligned with who you really are. Grinberg saw this in the shamans he studied, people who, with their minds focused, seemed to illuminate the environment around them. Kardec spoke of something similar. The elevated soul radiates light, a light that inspires and transforms. What if you could be that light today? Not tomorrow. Not when everything is perfect, but now, with what you already have. This is the final invitation of this journey. Take a quantum leap in your consciousness and let your light touch the world. It can be in the form of a smile, an idea you put into practice, or a decision that changes your path. The important thing is to start today. So what are you going to do with this? Are you going to let this message be just another one that passes you by, or are you going to seize this chance and make it the beginning of something new? Grinberg said that transformation doesn't wait for permission. It happens when you say yes to yourself. Kardec reinforced, progress is a choice. And I ask you, Why not choose now? Take a deep breath and feel that possibility. Feel that the next step is yours and that it can take you to places you never imagined. The quantum leap isn't the end. It's the beginning of a life where you are the conscious creator of your own story. If you've watched this far, congratulations on reaching the end of this journey with me. Tell me in the comments, what are you going to do today to awaken your consciousness and shine? I want to know how this message will turn into action in your life. And before you go, I have a powerful request. If this video touched you, if it sparked something in you, subscribe to the channel now. This is your way of saying yes to more content that will help you expand your mind and your soul. Leave your like, share with those who need to hear this, and let's grow together in this search for a collective awakening. Today is the day of your quantum leap. Make it shine. Until next time.